we got not one, but two after credit scenes to talk about after Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Come on inside.
What's up, everybody? Rob and Chris here from the Jersey Comic Crew. Today we're talking about the Shang-Chi after credit scenes. Now you guys might be wondering, wait, where's the movie review? We want to hear what you guys thought about the movie. We'll get to that very soon. It's actually going to be in a separate video. We have something planned for you, so keep your eyes on the lookout. The first after credit scene broke my mind. So guys, the first after credit scene, we see Wong comes through a magical portal where Shang-Chi and Kate are sitting down with their old friends, takes them to the Sanctum Sanctorum. You guys already know what we're talking about. It's the analysis of the Ten Rings and how old they are. We see Wong, Bruce Banner, and Captain Marvel all there. Well, two of them are there via hologram, all talking about the Ten Rings, how old they are. They're over 1,000 years old. They're like, they have no idea what, it's not alien tech, it's not made of vibranium. They don't know what it's made from, and it's sending like a beacon. And when it zooms in, if we have good video of the footage, we'll put it up here. But it looks like a yellow, maybe mini infinity gem is in there, powering the Ten Rings, and it's sending out a beacon, right? This one after credit scene sets up so many possibilities. Firstly, Shang-Chi is an Avenger, right? Oh, sorry, Shang-Chi. I mispronounced it, and now hearing the movie 1,000 times, so now I know how to properly say it, right?
Yeah, same.
Shang-Chi is an Avenger, right? Wong helped him out. Captain Marvel's there. Bruce Banner's there. Like, welcome to the circus, man. All right, like, cool. He's an Avenger. And apparently Kate is too, which I love that Kate is going to be with him because they're best friends. And we'll get into that in all of our review. But, like, she's going to be helping out with him. I don't know, shooting arrows or doing whatever she got to do. But, like, he's an Avenger. And, like, now this, like, Ten Rings is calling out to something. Is it a threat? Is it a hero? Do you have any thoughts, Chris?
I'm going to go with threat.
I'm with you on that.
9 times out of 10, it's threat. What was interesting to me was some of the language Wong used in this credit scene. You know, before they just sang Hotel California, and I really wished I was there.
Oh my God, how fun was that?
That looked amazing. But the fact that Wong said that he got the kind of activation beacon on Kamertage, where, you know, Doctor Strange trained and everything, that's where all the sorcerers are. The second Shang-Chi had the Ten Rings. So once, you know, his father gave them to him in his last sacrificial effort, and the second Shang-Chi kind of started, they kind of morphed and they turned from that purplish blue to this orangey glow color.
Yep.
That is when Wong said, this is where we heard the beacon, it activated, and now it's activated, right? It's over 1,000 years old. That's anywhere between, you know, the beginning of mankind to before. The other side of this, Rob, is now that we have this beacon, like you said, Captain Marvel can't register any alien, you know, planet that she's clearly been to a bunch for this. Bruce Banner, one of the biggest minds we have now, especially post Tony Stark, can't register. It's not vibranium. It's not anything from this planet. We have now kind of the situation of, okay, who the hell is this thing calling? Right? And if it's older than 1,000 years, are we looking at some type of power set of Infinity Stones? Are we looking at something more powerful that hasn't unlocked its true potential yet? Now, I think there's two avenues, and I think you'll kind of agree with me on this, of what this could be calling. I think one is cosmic, right? Some type of cosmic entity. And I think the other is what we saw a lot of in this movie, which is other dimensional, multiversal, possibly demonic in nature. I don't want to say his name because it's really hard not to, and I've said it so many times.
So I'm thinking it's not calling Mephisto. We're going to say that there, everybody at home. I like the idea of interdimensional, but to me, like the two after credit scenes, and Marvel kind of seems to be doing this, one focuses on like the interplay with other characters, one focuses more on the second story for that character, right? So if it's interdimensional, I don't think it's that, because that'll be more like focusing on his story, just how the trend of the movie was for me. I'm thinking this is either calling, like, my first things are like it's Kang or the Celestials, right? Kang being like, okay, we know one of his main personas was ancient Egyptian pharaoh. Those things, when you scope into it, I can see them being crafted in ancient Egypt with the technology that he knows of, with power, putting it into there. The fact that it was activated the second Shang-Chi used them, right? Not his father's been using it for 1,000 years. When Shang-Chi did it, which probably means Kang knows that Shang-Chi uses it, and that's the time that he needs to act. That could be something, right? That could be a cool avenue, right? And then
Could be.
what about Celestials, right? Celestials came. I mean, you also saw the Eternals trailer before the movie, right? So that's already in your mind. The Celestials are like godlike beings that came here thousands and thousands of years before, used stuff on the Earth to experiment on humans to try to recreate Eternals. So that could be ancient technology that the Celestials made, and them putting the ring on is just another calling for them to come in. But we know via the trailer that everybody coming back from Thanos is what calls them. So maybe that call is to a different Celestial, Chris. I think you're gonna like this. One that's not necessarily working with the pack of the traditional ones that judge everything. Maybe it's one who's hungry, likes to eat a lot of different worlds.
Who usually follows beacons?
Who follows beacons and has a surfer bro with him? Maybe it's Galactus.
So that is such a stretch, but I was thinking about that as well. I'm actually on the kind of not opposite side, but I'm on the other side of this where I don't necessarily think it's going to be something like a Celestial or a massive space power set, because I think we're going to get that in Eternals, which is the next movie up.
True.
And in the original Marvel kind of timeline of movies coming out, Eternals was supposed to be before Shang-Chi. So there's a chance, even when Eternals comes out, that story takes place before Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So again, we don't know the full timeline yet. We have to wait until Eternals comes out. We get some clarity on that.
Okay.
Obviously, we'll update everybody when that happens. But if that's the case, I don't necessarily think it's going to be as much as it would be great to have a Galactus right now and all that stuff, and Kang and more Celestial kind of explanation, because I think that's what we're waiting for, right? Like, how is this going on? Why didn't you help with Thanos? Why didn't
you're thinking it's more grounded?
I'm thinking it's more multiversal mystic.
Okay.
And Rob, like, it's really tough, like, to not go down that rabbit hole, because we've had, even in the past week, we've had a trailer for Spider-Man that showed us, this multiversal stuff, this craziness going on with Doctor Strange. We had a What If episode that went down that same dark rabbit hole.
Yep.
And throughout this movie of Shang-Chi, it was kind of this grounded element movie, which had this mystical element, which were the Ten Rings themselves. But by the time you get to Tao La, this lost city, this gorgeous lost city with real life Pokemon, you have this now dark barrier and this Cthulhu creature and more things that are pointing to this multiverse of madness stuff and down the Mephisto rabbit hole stuff. So I think it's going to be more in line with whatever is going on there. Possibly, this is still hinting to me that maybe, like we talked about earlier, Kang may be the next overarching Thanos villain.
Okay, but that's not for this.
And maybe Mephisto is like the Avengers 4 villain. Or 5 villain, technically. Like, that may be kind of what they're leading towards. I don't know.
The last after credit scene has to do with Shang-Chi's sister, Jalen, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, which hopefully I am. I'm not butchering it, right?
I think you're close.
We see her getting her old cohorts from the gang, from that empire that she started in China, and now mixed with the power and mindset of the Ten Rings, she's going to be a dominant threat. And then you see a lot more female assassins, which is, great to see. That's something they commented in the movie. But I'm really looking forward to Shang-Chi too, and I want to see this brother-sister dynamic fighting each other.
Yeah, I this has kind of been in a theory I've been building for not just kind of Shang-Chi, Ten Rings as like an organization. One, it was cool to see that like the Ten Rings will return. The first time it was kind of like more like the criminal organization, right? Usually they save that that title for an Avenger or a hero. And to see that for an organization, it's like, oh, okay, this is big.
They're going to be big, yeah.
I think it could be a couple things. It could be, obviously, we'll definitely see more ramification in a sequel with Shang-Chi having to either deal with his sister or, she's not necessarily bad, but she's kind of out for her own gains. And maybe becoming the thing she hates the most, which is her dad, which would be a cool foil. But the other side is we have this Wakanda show sitting here that's going to come out in Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And I've been talking to you, Rob, and others about this a lot, where, obviously we don't have a actual Black Panther right now, and we know there's a sequel movie coming out as well. this could be an interesting kind of Game of Thrones feel for a show like that. Where
Oh, okay.
ever since that end credit scene of Black Panther where, T'Challa goes to the UN, is like, hey, we're here. You can't have our vibranium, but we'll trade you other things. There's probably going to be a lot of other countries that are like kind of in the mindset of Ulysses Claw, where it's like, just because you're sitting on it doesn't make it yours. We're going to come after it. So you could have the Ten Rings be one of those, those citadels.
Mm-hmm.
You could have Namor and Atlantis possibly, right? We've got a lot more with the Russians now, and the like that kind of Crimson Dynamo Red Guardian scenario. Whatever's going on with Thunderbolt Ross and Valentina, like you could look at this as like kind of like a Game of Thrones faction. Who's sitting on the hill at Wakanda to take it? This is the perfect time to take it. There's no king there. Blah 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 blah. That becomes a show in itself. So I think the Ten Rings are not just going to be a constant foil for Shang-Chi, right?
No, I think it's going to be more than that. Yeah.
I think it has a potential to be in like Disney Plus or other movies as well. What do you think?
I agree with you 100%. I think it's going to spread out throughout all of Marvel MCU content, right? I think that the Ten Rings is going to take the place of the Hand organization actually in Marvel, right? In the comics, the evil dark thing is usually the Hand, right? With Daredevil and all this kind of stuff.
I do like the Hand.
But I do like the Hand too, but it kind of feels like, all right, we don't have the space or the want to do that. Like they're kind of distancing themselves away from that because of the failed Netflix properties, right? But the fact that you could have the Ten Rings be that foil for everybody in this and just change up things a little bit, I think it would be fantastic. I could definitely see the Ten Rings doing their own smuggling organization, trying to take stuff from Wakanda to better themselves or everything else. I think it really comes to what do we think that Xialing is going to do, right? Is she going to be like her father, have a criminal organization, like to like hurt other people to take from them? Or is she just going to be a hustler, right? Because her background, she hustled, she set up fights and made money that way. Is that the path they're going to go down to? And it's really between those two, and Marvel has to make that decision. Either way, I am really excited to see more of the Ten Rings, the organization, in whatever form they decide to continue being.
That's a good point too, Rob, because that aspect of the Fight Club, right? I think one of our first instincts when it came to this movie was, holy shit, like what is this tournament going to be like, right? And it was very cool to see, Wong and Abomination, and they kind of like had this agreement later on.
Yeah.
But is this where, like, does this spin off into a Ten Rings like tournament style show, which we were talking about, right? Is this where she has the money and the power to bring in actual like big time heavyweights to this tournament, and it gets out of control, right? Is that something that becomes on a Disney Plus miniseries or whatever the hell? Is that an avenue where the Ten Rings could go to? I mean, I don't know if they need the money. It seems like her dad was kind of raising all hell to get money.
I mean, for thousands of years, right? And like he had all this.
Yeah,
like
but I'm in for like if it's a spin-off mini-series of a DBZ style tournament, I'm totally down as well for that.
Guys, that wraps up our discussion on the after credit scenes of Shang-Chi. We want to know down in the comments below what you think these end credit scenes mean, and are you excited for the future of Marvel?
And guys, thanks so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up, like, it really helps the channel out a lot. If you're brand new, subscribe and turn on those notifications. You don't want to miss any more of our episodes on Shang-Chi, especially what we got waiting for you coming up in a few days. And guys, make sure you check out other videos on the channel if you haven't already. There's a bunch of stuff there from all different genres of pop culture. And as always, I'm Chris Heller. That is Robert Rand. We're the Jersey Comic Crew, and we'll see you next time.